Hey everyone, and welcome back to today's class. In today's class, we'll be working on improving our postures, and for that, you might need some yoga blocks just to help elevate your poses. So to begin, we're just going to take in a nice, comfortable seated position with our eyes closed, and just taking a few deep breaths as we focus and settle ourselves in. Then, starting with some shoulder rolls, we're going to take a deep breath in as we lift our shoulders towards our ears. And as we exhale, we're just going to drop them all the way down. Going in one direction, matching your movement with your breath. Before swapping and moving on in the opposite direction. Moving on to some spinal twists. We're going to place our right hand on our left knee and placing our left hand behind our back. We're just going to twist our bodies to the back and maybe see if we can look over our left shoulder. Taking some nice even breaths, keeping everything comfortable and easy. Moving on to the other side, left hand on right knee, right hand behind, and really twisting and pulling that right shoulder as far back as you can. Coming back to center, we're now going to move on to some heart openers. So by getting a nice seated position, you're going to take your hands behind your back, clasping your hands together, and as you inhale, you're going to lift your head up and pulling your hands back as far as you can. And then as you exhale, just relax everything down. Go into pulses like this at your own pace. Breathing in to pull back and exhale to relax. Now moving on, placing your left hand up and behind your neck. You take your right hand down and reach up for your hands, seeing if your fingers can touch. If not, that's okay. You just maybe grab onto your shirt or maybe even use a towel. You just want to really feel a nice little back stretch with your shoulders and your spine. Changing over to the other side, right hand coming on top, left hand coming from the bottom. You might notice it might feel a little bit different. Maybe you can't reach as far as you can here than the other side. And just noticing and accepting that it's okay. All our bodies are different and they might not always behave the same way on the one side as they do on the other. And releasing, you're going to move on to a child's pose. So with our knees as wide as our mat and our toes touching together, we're just going to sink our whole upper body and chest down to the mat with our arms laying out in front of us. And then we're going to go through some pulses with our hands just to get some elevation and stretches in our shoulders and our arms. So taking a nice deep breath in, we're going to lift our palms off the mat onto our fingers. And as we exhale, just going to relax everything back down. Going at your own pace as we go back and forth. Inhale to lift and exhale to relax. And then on your last one, you can just push your palms up and then hold it there for a few breaths. Just really feeling a nice stretch in your back and your shoulders. Then relaxing your hands back down, you can lift your body up into a tabletop position, hands below shoulders, knees below hips. As we lift our left hand, reaching up as high as we can, and going to thread the needle, reaching our arms between our hand and leg, as we rest our shoulder and our head down to the mat, lifting our right hand up, and reaching as high as we can, and if you can, maybe going for a bind, placing the back of your hand on the small of your back. Releasing the mind, bringing your hands back down to the mat as we move on to the other side. Right hand reaching up as high as we can before threading between our hand and leg as we come and rest our head and shoulders down to the mat, and using our left hand to reach up or maybe even take another bind. Coming back into a tabletop position, we're going to step both our feet out to a straight line so you can come meet me in a plank. Pushing the floor away, just going to slightly hover your shoulders over your wrists or lifting your hips up and pushing back into a downward facing dog. From your down dog, you can come back into a high plank position. And you're starting with your left leg, you're going to bring your left knee towards your front wrist and kicking your foot over to the right as we sink our hips down, coming into a pigeon pose. This is where you might want to need to use your blocks just to help you get some elevation as you really want to push your upper body up as high as you can and pulling your shoulders back as far as they can go. Taking some nice deep breaths, really sinking into the pose. Please just relax and feel the stretch. Releasing and coming back into a high plank, taking your left leg back, before moving on to the other side, bringing your right knee forward, and kicking your foot over to the left, sinking your hips back down, as you once more come back into our pigeon. placing your blocks to the side if you use them. Then we move on to our last exercise for the practice, coming to laying down on our stomachs with our hands laid out in front of us, stretching our fingers out as far as we can. We're going to take a nice deep breath in, and as we do, we're going to float our hands behind our backs, letting our fingers touch behind us. And as we exhale, bringing them back forward. Going back and forth, once more matching your movement with your breath as we try and keep everything nice and controlled. And on your last one, you can push yourself up into a nice seated position before coming to meet me in one last child's pose as we end our practice. And if you want, you can maybe grab your blocks again, placing both of them underneath your hands out in front of you, just to get one last little stretch in your shoulders, just to get some nice elevation going. Slowly pushing your body up, coming to a nice comfortable seated position as we finish off. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you found some benefits, and I hope to see you guys again next time on the yoga mat.